and looks like we're going to have a communist as the mayor.
Oh, he gave up. Let's go. Oh, can you believe it? I got a mailer the other day from Andrew Cuomo. He said, Google HasanAbi 9/11. I Googled it. I said to myself, unbelievable. Can you believe it?
Mr. President, the meeting with Vladimir Putin is canceled or put on hold. Do you know what happened there, and does that affect your decision whether or not to send tomahawks?
No, I don't want to have a wasted meeting. I don't want to have a waste of time. So I'll see what happens. But
He's so mad. Vladdy Poo, I don't want to waste time. I do love seeing him, but I don't want to waste time with him.
we did all of these great deals, great peace deals. They're all peace deals. They're agreements, solid agreements, every one of them. But this one, and I said, go to the line of battle, the battlefield lines, and you pull back and you go home, and everybody takes some time off, because you got two countries that are killing each other. You got two countries that are losing 5,000 to 7,000 soldiers a week. So we'll see what happens. It's we haven't made a determination.
Forcing the Justice Department to look into the federal investigations into you and look for compensation, and how much are you asking for?
Who's asking for what?
Are you asking the Justice Department to pay you compensation for
Who's compensation?
your federal investigations into you? Are you asking them to pay compensation, and how much?
Into me? I don't get any compensation. I do it for nothing. I gave up my salary. Into me?
No, it's going to be the Justice Department. Are you asking them to pay you compensation for the federal investigations that happened to you? And how much are you asking for?
Well, I guess they probably owe me a lot of money for that. Probably, yeah, that's true. That's very interesting. No, I get no salary. I gave up my salary. It's a good salary. Not as much as these guys make, but that's okay. It's a lot of money. And I don't, as you know, I didn't take it in the first 4 years. I'm not taking
So what's up with the compensation of the DOJ then?
it in these 4 years either. But as far as all of the litigation and everything that's been involved, yeah, they probably owe me a lot of money. But if I get money from our country, I'll do something nice with it, like give it to charity or give it to the White House while we restore the White House. And we're doing a great job in the White House. As you know, the ballroom is under construction. It's going to be, they've been trying to get it for 150 years, and it's really, I think it's going to be fantastic. But we'll see what happens. I mean, we have numerous cases having to do with the fraud of the election, the 2020 election, and because of everything that we found out, I guess they owe me a lot of money. But I'm not looking for money. I'm looking for really. I think it's got to be handled in a proper way. If it's not handled in a proper way, we don't want it to happen again. We can never let what happened in the 2020 election happen again. We just can't let that happen. And so they're working on it. Everybody's working on it. And certainly Tulsi's working on it. We can't let that happen again to our country. Look at what's happened, where you have millions of people being allowed to come into our country, all because of a crooked election, where they come from prisons, they come from jails, they come from mental institutions and insane asylums. They're drug
He
dealers.
loves this line.
The people that they've allowed to come into our country. We cleaned them out in Washington, D.C. We have a very safe capital right now. We have a capital that's as safe as it can be. But I don't know. I mean, you'd have to ask the lawyers about that.
Mr. President, what did you hear from Mr. President? A comment and a question, please, for you. First of all, you have just 1 billion plus hearts around the globe, including India, by celebrating the Diwali in the White House.
Oh my God.
And my other comment is, Mr. President.
I like his question.
Oh my God. Anyone else, Trump would immediately hit he'd be like, what are you saying? I can't understand you. But it's because it's like a glaze. It's a glaze fest. It's a glaze festival over here. He's like, very nice. What a kind statement. Some might say the best statement of all time.
In February, you and the White House staff gave a warm welcome to the Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi. And after that, I decided to make a short trip to India for you, how popular you are in India. And I went there in a holiest also festival there. Millions of people were there. And also Prime Minister Narendra Modi was addressing a media event, 5,000 people. I was one of them there listening to him. And when I went to several states in India, what I found out, Mr. President, 3 people are most popular there. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, President Donald Trump, Mr. Kash Patel, and also with the surprise, our White House Press Secretary, Caroline Levitt.
She's doing good, right? She is doing good.
And
Superstar.
Mr. President, my question is, you had a great relationship with the people of India when you
Right.
visited India, and with the Prime and also with the Indian American community. Where do we stand today, all those relations from 45 to 47 in the future, Mr. President? Please, thank
Well,
you.
we stand great, and the people of India, I love the people of India, and we're working on some great deals between our countries. I spoke to Prime Minister Modi today, as I mentioned before, and we just have a very good relationship. And he's not going to buy much oil from Russia. He wants to see that war end as much as I do. He wants to see the war end with Russia, Ukraine. And as you know, they're not going to be buying too much oil. So they've cut it way back, and they're continuing to cut it way back.
Mr. President, what did Hamlin say
Mr.
that?
President,
Yeah, please, go.
an appeals court recently ruled that you can send the National Guard into
Yeah.
Portland, Oregon. Do you feel unfettered to send the National Guard into whatever city you want now?
Well, I guess so. That was the decision. That I can send the National Guard if I see problems. I looked at Portland over the weekend. The place is burning down, just burning down. We weren't there. We didn't spend much time there because we were waiting for that decision. But the court, probably maybe that influenced the court. But you look at a place like Portland, it's ridiculous when they say that there's no problem. The place was on fire over the weekend.
Oh, totally.
But we won the case in Court of Appeals. I think it was the Ninth Circuit, so that's pretty good.
So the Court of Appeals decision, I read it. It literally stated that yes, Donald Trump is greatly exaggerating the conditions on the ground in Portland. Having said that, he still has the right to deploy the National Guard if he chooses to do so. They literally, even in the decision that overturned it, they said, yeah, he's making shit up. Not that it fucking matters.
And a very strong opinion that we have the right to use the National Guard. You would think that would be common sense. We have the right to use the National Guard to put out trouble. Well, that's how I got elected. One of the reasons I got elected. Yes.
Mr. President, what changed your mind after talking to Vladimir Putin between then and now? Why did you think that a Budapest summit might be wasted time?
Well, I didn't say anything. I didn't say it would, and you never know what's going to happen. But a lot of things are happening on that front, on the war front with Ukraine and Russia, and we'll be notifying you over the next 2 days as to what we're doing.
Did you
But
hear
a lot of things are happening.
Did you hear something from
I
the
think we're going to
President?
get it solved. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, on Ukraine, do you still see a chance for a ceasefire? And what is
Say it
Putin
again,
asking for?
what?
Do you still see a chance for a ceasefire? And what is
I do,
Putin
yeah, I
asking
do.
for?
I do. It's a vicious war. It doesn't really affect us. We sell equipment to them. We sell equipment to NATO, and NATO gives it to Ukraine, but we don't pay anything anymore. Biden spent $350 billion. The war would have never happened if I were president.
By the way, the reason why he keeps saying like we don't lose anything, we just sell equipment to NATO, is because this is probably one of the worst indications that this is going to continue. Because I think he's trying to stress test that position to his own audience. He is basically trying to tell the Republicans that are like, bro, enough with this Ukraine shit, that the war is going to continue. We have no motion. We have no power. We have no leverage here. But I can't admit that to you, which is why I'm going to say this isn't foreign aid. This is actually very helpful for the American industry, which is military Keynesianism that Joe Biden actually tried to advocate for as well. I'd go so far as to say, given the confines, given the conditions on the battlefront, Biden had more leverage to end it than Trump does currently, but understand where he's coming from and what he is signaling he's going to continue to do.
Would have never, not even a million years, and Putin knows that too, would have never happened. But it did happen, and I came in, and I have to see if I can put it out. But it doesn't affect us because we're not losing soldiers there. Although, when I first came in, that could have ended up, it's not going to happen, but it could have ended up in World War III. That was really out of control. So now it's they're shooting and they're killing people, and I think Putin wants it to end, and I think Zelensky wants it to end, and I think it's going to end.
Is that rumor that he reached out to you about meeting on the government shutdown? Will you meet with him before you leave for Asia on Friday?
Well, I will actually. I'd love to meet with them. I just want them to open up the country first. You know, the country is so hot right now, and they've never voted against, you know, continuation. They've never voted against. They've never done that. They're doing this because they have Trump derangement syndrome. But I would love to meet. I would like to meet with both of them. But I set one little caveat. I will only meet if they let the country open. They have to let the country open. The people want to go back to work.
They want to negotiate. He wants to negotiate with the leaders of the party to open the country, but the only way he will do so is if they concede ahead of time. Like, what the? Okay.
They want to be served. They want to. They need the services of some people, and a lot of people need the money, the payroll. So I'll do it as soon as they open up the country. I'd like to meet.
So you won't meet with them until the government. Just to be clear, you won't meet with them until the government.
Art of the deal, baby. Art of the deal, baby. Respect. He's running around being like, "Yep, no deal until you give me everything that I want, and then maybe I'll talk to you."
It's open.
The government has to be open, yeah. You know how long it would take for them to do that? Just say, okay, government's open, that's it. There is nothing.
How long
They're
do you
not
think this could
negotiating.
go?
What they're doing is saying they lost the negotiation, and when we got the great big beautiful deal done, they lost that negotiation. Now they're saying, well, we want to get some of the things we lost. But the problem is the things they lost are very bad for our country. We don't want to have people come over from all over the world, from prisons and all, and have them have their health care paid for. We want to take care of people that are here, that are American citizens and all. So they want $1.5 trillion a month.
For the people who are saying Graham Plattner tattoo thoughts, because I saw some comments. If you are a subscriber to the Piker Broadcasting Service, and these are totally voluntary, you have the opportunity to rewind as long as you are watching on a desktop. I have spent the first 3.5 hours talking about it, and then even diving into Lenin by the end of the conversation. So it's a wonderful 3-hour and 40-minute conversation that took place, and I think it was somewhat productive in helping people come to terms with where I'm at and what I'm committed to. I don't think anyone thinks Plattner is a Nazi because of the tattoo. I think he's a dumbass, which definitely doesn't really clash with his brand that much, but it does suggest the question, why run a smart person for office? Why not run a smart person for office instead? I think people need to think this through a bit, especially if Gaza is important to you. A loud advocate for Palestine in the Senate with a Nazi tattoo would be the ADL and AIPAC's greatest gift. Not a knock on his lane or what he's trying to do, but surely there's someone else. There isn't. That's the problem. A lot of people, including people who I greatly respect and admire, like Adam Johnson, I think sometimes don't understand what it takes to launch a campaign and a candidacy, especially when literally this dude went in and got all the endorsements of every single labor union, Bernie Sanders, all these other people. Sometimes you're just locked in. If you can't see yourself voting for him, then that's fine. That's understandable. Okay. Yeah. Plattner says he'll remove tattoo that resembles Nazi symbol. His former political director said he knows damn well what the tattoo signifies. It was not until I started hearing from the reporters and DC insiders that I realized the tattoo resembled a Nazi symbol. Plattner said in a statement to Politico on Tuesday, I absolutely would not have gone through life having this tattoo on my chest if I knew that. And to insinuate that I did is disgusting. I'm already planning to get this removed. Plattner reiterated that he got the tattoo while out drinking with fellow Marines in Croatia, choosing the skull and crossbones off a wall in the tattoo parlor. He has said the similarity to Nazi iconography never came up, including when he underwent physical exams mandated by the U.S. Army, which prohibits tattoos of identified hate symbols. In the nearly 20 years since this hasn't come up, Plattner said, I cannot believe it. But after talking to a bunch of people in this chat who are very neurodivergent and I thought were locked in on, identifying symbols of hate, I guess a lot of Americans literally don't know. I cannot believe it. I feel like a failure as far as my advocacy against Nazi symbols. Only 40% of this chat said they knew that the totem cough was a Nazi symbol, a prominent Nazi symbol. 60% of this chat said, and this community is way, way more tuned into that kind of stuff than the average American is. That is crazy. How was that possible? Yeah, I only knew it because you taught us when you were covering the Azov battalion. I only knew because I found out from you when I first started watching 7 years ago. Jesus Christ. What? If he picked it off a wall, the story's bullshit. No tattoo studio that has that on their wall. Flash sheets will only... No, it's definitely... He definitely went into a Nazi tattoo parlor in Croatia. That part of the story is the most believable part of the story. The unbelievable part of the story is the fact that nobody told him for 20 years almost, and he never took it off. Ustazi supporting Croatian tattoo parlor being like, hell yeah, brother, this is the best tattoo to give you. That makes sense. I thought Plattner's tattoo was a pirate symbol from a pirate flag. Law. Oh my God. Plattner's statement that he would get the tattoo removed came after questions were raised, including from a former top campaign staffer, about how he could have been unaware of the tattoo's connotations. Maybe he didn't know when he got it, but he got it years ago and he should have had it covered up because he knows damn well what it means. Plattner's former political director, Genevieve McDonald, wrote on Facebook. McDonald, once again, resigned from the campaign even before this shit. And this is an understandable point for someone to like say, all right, I'm out. But the fact that she resigned because she saw Reddit posts of him being like, I'm a commie, I'm Antifa, and was like, okay, I'm out, implies I don't care about her perspective at all. I think she's a dumbass. The tattoo revelation came after Plattner apologized last week for a series of offensive Reddit posts. There's a Plattner political compass. I got older and became a communist. Deleted post show main senators hopeful raw views and politics. Oh, dude, head in the office is goated. I didn't even know they were on Twitter. That's so funny. This is hilarious. Welcome back, LBJ. Created Medicare and Medicaid, said the N-word, whipped out in public, signed the Civil Rights Act into law. I think on the top, the top left quadrant, you could also say, sent the National Guard to forcefully abide by desegregation in red states, whipped out in public. Oh, that's true. It's literally true. That is hilarious. Top right, Vietnam War, obviously. I mean, that too.
Money to be wasted and jeopardize the health care of other people. We're not going to do that. So I would love to meet with them. We want the country open for us.
Mr. President, a new poll shows that if Curtis Sliwa dropped out of the New York mayoral race, then Andrew Cuomo would only trail Mondani by 4 points. Would you call Curtis Sliwa to drop out of the race so that can happen?
Well, I looked at the polls, and looks like we're going to have a communist as the mayor.
Oh, he gave up. Let's go. Oh, can you believe it? I got a mailer the other day from Andrew Cuomo. He said, Google HasanAbi 9/11. I Googled it. I said to myself, unbelievable. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? They're going to do 9/11s. They're going to do so many 9/11s in New York. We've given up. He changed
New York, it'll be very interesting. But here's the good news. He's got to go through the White House. Everything goes through the White House. At least this White House it does. And we'll have to see what happens. But
like, can you imagine, dude, Biden being like, hey, there's a special election happening in, I don't know, insert red state. And if you don't make sure that it is my Democratic senator who wins in the special election, I am going to cut funds to your state, to your bumfuck red state. That is calls for a civil war, okay? But when Trump says it, it's just Tuesday. It's just October 21st, 2025, just another Tuesday. Incredible.
if he dropped out, he's not going to win. And not looking too good for Cuomo either. But maybe, I don't know, if he dropped out, maybe Cuomo would have a little bit of a chance, but not much. Because it looks like the lead is... It's not a great lead, but it's big enough that he should be able to win. So
I genuinely don't understand what is in the mentality and mindset of like a lot of people online leftists who are so hyper focused on Graham Plattner. Like I don't understand it. Like why is this your main point of contention? I truly want to know, because there's something that I have never seen. I have never seen this level of intensity. You spent 4 hours talking about him. I know part of the reason why is because like a lot of people are very, very pissed off. It's because you are. Their entire universe is you, and everyone who hates you. Bad Empanada made a video about you and Graham Plattner literally yesterday. Yeah. Because the Argentina Trotsky is leading them. Yeah. Mr. Permanent Revolution. It's because he has a Nazi tattoo. Of course, it's a sensational info for leftists. No, this is before the Nazi tattoo. The Nazi tattoo is when I also was like, this is completely fucked up. They've been yelling at me over Graham Plattner non-fucking stop. Zohran Mamdani, opposition research. Several kindergarten classmates recalled that Mamdani often sang lyrics threatening violence against Barney the dinosaur, a figure many in the Jewish community regard as a hero. Graham Plattner, Oppo Research. I heart eating shit. Expect more brigaders tomorrow after we release a video about how he told you so. I mean, I don't really care. Here's my issue. How much leeway do we give him? Where do we draw the line? I don't know. I feel like the Nazi tattoo thing is a decent fucking line to draw for many. All I was saying is I'm actually quite encouraged that liberals have looked at his background, at his Reddit posts, and him being like, I'm a communist, I'm a socialist, I'm a revolutionary, blah, 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 and have not felt discouraged and are still firmly committed to him. That actually blows my mind. Do with that information what you will, but I feel like you get a lot of mileage if you don't have Graham Plattner's fucking baggage and you are running on a campaign similar to that. That's what I'm seeing. And honestly, I don't give a fuck about what the leftists have to say about not Graham Plattner, but any fucking left flank candidate that could run potentially. Because, god damn it, we got some better allies right now. The Barbers and the motherfucking Debras, it seems, are way more invested, and have a firm commitment to the notion that a left populist candidate will actually destroy even red seats and will seize control over purple territories. Mamdani hasn't gotten an ounce of this charitability. That's not true. You're wrong. Mamdani is unimaginably popular amongst the very same libs that are also defending Graham Plattner right now. Oh my God. Are you fucking joking? Oh, dude. I think Zohran Mamdani is beloved in spite of the fact that he is brown and Muslim. Do you know how fucking racist? Guys, the reason why I didn't bring up the Nazi tattoo when I was talking about how liberals don't consider that to be bad, as opposed to him saying he's a communist and a socialist, is because liberals, by and large, I suspect, would be way more angry about him saying he's a revolutionary communist. We must rise up with the fucking armed working class to foment revolution, all this shit that he said. Okay? Liberals are probably going to be more fucking pissed off about Graham Plattner saying shit like that than the Nazi tattoo. Graham Plattner has a skull and crossbones tattoo he's got as a soldier. James Tallarico is a Teach for America grifter funded by casino interests. Mallory McMorrow has a secret APAC plan for donors. Guess what pearl clutchers think is scandalous? The reason anyone pretends to care about Plattner's tattoo and Reddit posts is because they think he's coming after the rich. That's it. That's all it's about. They hate populists because we actually believe in equality that terrifies them. I want a vigorous examination into Plattner. This Oppo dump on his tattoo and Reddit post isn't that. I think a big part of the reason why the centrist Dems are coming after him, even though his left flank is like actually defending him, is because of the if his campaign, in spite all odds, is able to overthrow Susan Collins, I need you to understand something, okay? If Graham Plattner, as a left populist, disillusioned veteran, like that's how he's presented himself, if his campaign, his left populist campaign, not like whatever you guys fucking think and whatever you're mad about, because I'm not even talking about his like policy agenda once he's in office. Who knows where he goes, okay? Will he probably be like an institutional Dem? It seems he's so fucking malleable that perhaps, yes. I don't think he has like as aggressive of a backbone to defend like leftist positions unconditionally, uncompromisingly. Okay? But if he wins on a left populist flank in a fucking purple area and takes over a red seat, I don't think you guys understand what kind of incredible changes that can come from that. Maybe it's because I'm too close to the issue as a political commentator who speaks to the Democrats all the fucking time, both behind closed doors and also on the stream. But one of the number one arguments that the Matt Iglesiases of the world have consistently presented against left populist candidates is this idea that it doesn't work. It only works in New York if it does. It doesn't work in red districts. It doesn't work for purple seats. How dare you? Okay? I'm telling you, dude. If this motherfucker gets across the finish line in spite of all of his ridiculous and awfully suspicious red flag riddled background, on a platform that's like, I don't give a fuck. I just want everyone to have health care. Yeah, I was a veteran. I was fucked up. I was stupid. Oh, I'm so stupid. I can't believe I got a fucking Nazi tattoo. So stupid. But like, I still want everyone to have health care. Like, I'm backed by all the labor unions. Like, if he runs on that campaign and he fucking wins a red Senate seat, dude, are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? I'm putting my nutsack on every fucking table inside of the goddamn Capitol, okay? I'm stamping my nuts. Every Democrat can suck me from the back after that, okay? Oh, what happened? I thought this was just a Zoran thing. I thought it couldn't fucking work anywhere else. I thought it was because New York is woke and gay. The opportunities are fucking endless, okay? I'm from Maine. He's our best candidate. I don't care what some terminally online folks who couldn't point out Maine on a map think about our choice between Platter and a couple shitty lib dinosaurs. Probably won't door knock for him again, though, lol. Okay, well, if you think he's the best option, you should still continue doing that. Too much faith in electoralism? No. Oh, my God. Do we have to do a broader... By the way, Patrick, lunch enjoyer, wants to collab with you at some point. He apologizes for any previous slights in the past. One of his friends may have done something that was off-putting and they didn't mean it. They're in the same group as Caleb and they want to link up. They appreciate every time you reference I heart eating shit. Sorry for interjecting on the convo. I'm a dumb chatter. That's so funny. I think those guys are very funny. And also, the dude who was shitting on me has already apologized to me in the DMs like a long time ago. Said the same thing with Fetterman, bro. He literally chased down a black man saying the same shit in terms of policy. We already established this is a real tried and proven method. No, because Fetterman's victory was still firmly within the hands of like the Democrat establishment, the Democrat, within the confines of like the Democratic Party. I suspect that even if Fetterman's opposition in the primaries won, he still would have defeated Dr. Oz. Like Connor Lamb would have fucking also defeated Dr. Oz, which probably my biggest fucking probably my biggest L. Who knew that Connor Lamb would be an infinitely better choice? That motherfucker was flexing. He was basically running around talking about how, you know, Israel is doing a genocide actually as a way to just say fuck you to everybody, all the fucking progressives that voted for John Fetterman. Literally, Connor Lamb was like, yeah, the Democrats really need to stop with this Israel shit. I was like, come on! Are you fucking kidding me? You can't be running around as a fucking shitty-ass neoliberal against John Fetty only to turn around and be like, just kidding, dude. I actually would have been way better, okay? And Connor would have probably been the same, to be honest, is wrong. John Fetterman is a uniquely bad candidate. No, I do not believe that Connor Lamb, regardless of how much of a fucking shitty establishment neolib he was, would be capable of behaving like a guy who has a unique brain. Also, I can't understand why so many people, I think so many people were so bricked by Fetterman, no pun intended. So many people were bricked by Fetterman that they just cannot see a world outside of John Fetterman. John Fetterman is a once in a lifetime situation. Okay. He got brain damage. It's not like he's hiding it. Like he literally he stroked out so hard, he became a conservative. Like it's not even like a Kirsten Sinema style situation, because Kirsten Sinema, by the time she was running for office, was already like saying that she was a centrist. Okay. Kirsten Sinema, by the time she was running for office, was saying she's a centrist. John Fetterman literally wasn't saying anything while he was running for office the last time around because his brain had bricked up. And then once he was in office, he was like, I actually am the worst conservative you ever met.
Taxpayers pay him nearly $250 million for legal fees.
Yeah. Chris Van Hollen had a stroke at the same time and I didn't become Fetterman. Wait, what? Wait. Oh my God. Is this equilibrium? Is that why Chris Van Hollen is so woke now? Oh my God. Shut the fuck up. Are you serious? Did Chris Van Hollen actually have a stroke at the same time? Dude. Do strokes happen in that way where like they hit people with a stroke gun, but the target becomes a Nazi, but if someone else is in the periphery, they become an anti-Nazi? Or do you think they swap their brains out? Are you being sarcastic? No, Chris Van Hollen has unironically become one of my favorite, like, regular ass Democratic senators. And the reason why I say that is because he has done a lot of good stuff when other Democrats were too pussy to even attempt to put their bodies on the line to say anything about all the fuck shit that the administration was doing. Chris Van Hollen has been going nutty mode. He's like one of the most outspoken congresspersons on Israel. He literally flew to El Salvador to extract Kilmar Abrego Garcia. It's actually pretty crazy. Oh my God, Chris Van Hollen got hit with the woke gun, the woke stroke gun. And the goddamn the goddamn ogre got hit with the anti-woke stroke gun. Van Hollen's was in 22 and Fetterman was in 23. Maybe they hit Van Hollen first to try it out. It was a trial release. No, they were the same week. Wait, what? Statement from Senator Van Hollen. Today, U.S. Senator Chris Van Hollen released the following statement. This weekend, I was admitted to George Washington University Hospital for experiencing lightheartedness and acute neck pain. While I was delivering a speech at Western Maryland, at the recommendation of the attending physician, I sought medical attention upon my return. Earlier today, an angiogram indicated that I experienced a minor stroke in the form of a small venous tear at the back of my head. Wait. When was Fetty Wap? Obviously, every case is unique, but without actually weighing in on the Fetterman interview tonight, there is ample history of stroke survivors serving in the Senate. And really recent history, too. Tim Johnson, Mark Kirk, Ben Ray Lujan, Chris Van Hollen. Wait, it was around the same time. Bro got stroked out so hard, he went to fucking Gaza, bro. U.S. Senator Chris Van Hollen and Jeff Merkley, or not Gaza, West Bank, sorry, condemned violence against Palestinians as they visit the historic Church of St. George in the occupied West Bank, which was attacked by Israeli settlers in July. Bro, the stroke giveth and the stroke taketh. What the fuck? What the fuck, dude? So how the fuck did this happen to John Fetty Wap? Like, John Fetty Wap had the reverse stroke. Oh my God, 5/15/2002, 5/13/2002. Oh my God. Oh my God. There is an equilibrium. There was a balance. They stroked one out to turn him into this fucking ogre, and they stroked the other one out to turn him into a woke-ger. Perfectly balanced as things should be.
You know, I don't know that I want to get involved. It's really a question of, would I rather have a Democrat or a communist? And I would rather have a Democrat than a communist.
Oh.
Will you meet with Mamdani if he wins?
Yeah, I'll speak to him. It's an obligation to speak to him. But look, I love New York. I've always loved New York. I just can't believe a thing like this is happening. I left New York. We had a mayor, de Blasio, who was a disaster. But when I left, it was sort of before he could really take hold. And boy, New York was a hot city, and now it's sad to see what's happening, frankly. And with the communists in charge, look, you just go back 1,000 years. I mean, it's been done many times, 1,000 years. It's never worked once, so it's not going to work now either.
Mr. President, you're building your ballroom right now. They're also building the Obama Presidential Library. I'm wondering if you've
He needs
seen.
help.
Have you seen pictures of the architecture and
Yeah,
what do
I
you think
did.
of it?
It's not too pretty. No, but it's closed. It's stopped. They ran out of money. I mean, he's building a library / museum. You know, you call it some museum, and usually they call it library and museum. That's the official name. And they're stuck. And he wanted only women and DEI to build it. Well, that's what they got. And the construction workers are standing out there and saying, we want.
Bro, even the threat of union organizing is enough for a company to immediately declare that they're raising wages. Okay? And just like that, the threat of a socialist Democrat mayor is enough for the Republicans to immediately concede and be like, well, I guess we can have a regular Democrat instead of a socialist one. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed that? Interesting. Just saying, Overton window shifted so fast, my head snapped. Meanwhile, this motherfucker's running around. This motherfucker's running around talking about 1,000 years of communism. He's talking about primitive accumulation, chat. That's what he's talking about.
Be able to build it. You know, you have I built a great building in Chicago, as you know, a big, beautiful building, one of the tallest buildings in the country.
A lot of you are joking, but yeah, he's talking about anarcho-primitivism. He's talking about primitive accumulation. He's talking about how People used to just pick fruit, okay, for the tribes. Not a big deal. And then the enclosures came. Can you believe it? And then the enclosures came, and they said, no more public land. No more. The land-owning rentier class abolished the freedoms that the proletariat had in their subsistence living formation for thousands of years. And at the time, it was hard. The peasants could not stop themselves. Total woke failure. It led to agriculture.
And we got it built very quickly, very well. And we used the construction workers of Chicago. They're great workers. They're great construction people. And I suggest that he get them involved. But they're hundreds of millions of dollars over budget. And I think it stopped. I'm reading these terrible stories.
Primitive accumulation refers to the process in which the ruling classes stole wealth from the producers before capitalism. You are thinking of primitive communism. Yes. Thank you for correcting me.
But that's the way our country was run under President Obama, too. Nobody knew it.
Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President.
No, it's not. I mean, he's not wrong. He's right.
Crude oil supply in September. Are you on China?
Well, I mean, you read the same papers as I do, but I don't have to read the papers because I'm the one. Right now, as of November 1st, China will have about 155% tariff put on it. And I don't think it's sustainable for them, so I want to be nice to China. But China's been very rough with us over the years because we had presidents that weren't smart from a business standpoint. Some were good politicians, some weren't even good politicians, but they allowed China to take advantage of us and every other country to take advantage of us. If you see, I made a deal with the European Union. I made a deal with Japan, with South Korea. I made a lot of these deals that are great deals. And I was able to do it. It's really national security. I was able to do it because of tariffs. And we're getting hundreds of billions, even trillions of dollars paid into the United States. We're a very rich country again. We'll start paying off debt. We'll do a lot of things. We'll probably make a distribution out of some of the tariff money. I think we're going to make a distribution over the next fairly short period of time to people because we took in so much money from the tariffs. Just European Union, $650 billion. Japan, $550 billion. South Korea, $350 billion. That's even a lot of money for you guys, right? That's not bad, right? But no, we're taking in a lot of money, and it keeps people like this here because that's why they're coming in. I mean, you wouldn't be, I mean, I'm not going to speak for you, but generally they won't be coming in if it weren't for tariffs. They come in here and they don't have to pay any tariff. If they do it outside, they pay a lot of money, a lot of tariffs. The money comes to us. And in order not to pay the tariff, they come and they build here. That's why we have more plants under construction than we've ever had in the history.
What do you know about this money? About the same as Donald Trump knows about the money, which is to say nothing. Everything, bro, everything that he is saying is an abject lie. As far as like the coffers, as far as the tariffs goes, yes, they have collected some money. Okay, they have collected some money from the tariffs, but again, that ends up having an inflationary effect on the goods that you're consuming. So it technically still ends up coming out of your pockets. But as far as like the IOUs that he constantly talks about from like Korea and all these other places, like that's all bullshit. And I assume this is like a Diwali thing, right, chat? Where are my Indian HasanAbi heads at? Is it? I don't know. I don't want to come across as insensitive, but
break out.
Nice. Dude, it's been kind of crazy seeing what's his face? Seeing Kash Patel be like, "Oh, I celebrate like happy Diwali," right? And then there's just like right-wing motherfuckers who are like quote retweeting him and being like, "Stop with this shit. You better stop with this right now. You cut it out with this fucking Diwali nonsense. It's not American." It's like, damn, bro. Yeah, it was Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh said, "Get the fuck out of here with this Diwali shit." Or was it Matt Walsh or it was Steven Crowder that I saw, which is crazy. Like, why the fuck is that a problem? Why is that crazy? It's crazy because I think it's a sign of the times that prominent and not so prominent Republican political commentators are so overt with their racism. Like, it's actually incredibly, it's devastating that people are so open about like their demands to deport brown people, like Indian people, even if they are prominent figures in the administration. Mandy Asanta, American Christians, if you can have your church bell, we can have our Islamic prayer call. Christianity built this country. Islam did not at all, even in the slightest way. That's why we can have our church bells, you ungrateful little bitch. And then the one I was thinking of is Steven Crowder straight up. What is this? Clue Freeman, D, New York, 45 years old but young at heart. The king of Zing loves to say while Trump's up to some monkey business, I'm over here standing on business and other really awesome, useful shit.
Pennsylvania. And these Republicans, they are not the party of law and order. They're the party of lawlessness and disorder.
Fucking got him. Fucking got him. This is Steven Crowder on Cash before and after. Yeah, this is why the establishment is so afraid of Kash Patel. And then boom, could we not? Happy Diwali, celebrating the Festival of Lights around the world as good triumphs over evil, is fucking nuts, bro. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it, like how open they are. I cannot believe how open they are about how they're like relentless racism. I don't think this is good. And I don't mean like, oh, I don't think this is good for the future of the country. That much is clear. That's obvious. But I don't think this is good for even like having a long standing. No, guys, listen. It's obviously not good for anything. But I'm saying I don't think this has staying power. Okay? Like, I don't think this is a successful way to have long standing power in this country by just being like every single person that's like that has different practices than me is bad and wrong and must be abolished. Like, it's not a very sustainable thing you can do in a country like the United States of America. Because like, even if you are shitting on your own fascist soldiers, okay, even if you're shitting on your own fascist soldiers at a time when your ranks are way more diverse, it's just not going to work. Fascism nowadays is much more diverse than the previous formations, especially in the United States of America, because the United States of America is a diverse country. And unless they find like a higher order to tie themselves to, like unless they try to build something new instead of just like blanket white supremacist fascism, they're not going to be able to maintain this movement, which is good, I think. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think you can get away with like shitting on your own brave fascist soldiers like this. I'm sorry to tell you that I found out why Trump gave up on beating Zoran.
I'm officially starting Hot Girls for Cuomo. So if you are a hot girl for Andrew Cuomo.
You are actually correct, because whites will be a minority as a collective by 2060. I mean, whites are already a minority depending on what your definition of whiteness is. To be fair, Hinduism is not fascism. Hindutva is. There's a difference. Wait, what? No, I'm not talking about Hinduism, man. What the fuck? No, I'm talking about Kash Patel. Kash Patel himself is a loyal servant of the fascist administration. I'm not talking about Diwali. I'm just saying you can't shit on Kash Patel for celebrating Diwali when he is a fucking loyal servant of fascism. And then simultaneously expect that you can have this this movement that is going to necessarily be diverse. That's just how America is. What is this? You need to see Matt's quote of this. It's diabolical. Click the link in this quote. Honestly, I was skeptical, but they did a good job with the website. That's awesome. HotGirlsForCuomo.com takes you to the Attorney General NewYork.gov website. Report of investigation into allegations of sexual harassment by Governor Andrew M. Cuomo. Oh my God. Respect. Free scroll the replies to this Bill Ackman tweet. The Zoran Mamdani campaign is actively working to keep Curtis Lewa in the race. Come on, Ackman, stay in your lane. There's another website at work. What is this? Help me build HasanPiker911.com. Thanks to Cuomo at telling people to Google Hasan Piker 911. I went ahead and bought this domain. I want to prop up a simple website for people actually Googling Hasan Piker and 9/11. Who wants to help with this? I'd like to get something hosting over the next day or two. The goal here is to create an educational one-pager for people who have no idea what's going on. Sections: who is Hasan Piker? Why would someone say America deserved 9/11? Why is this being brought up by Cuomo? What is Mamdani's stance? Where can I learn more? I also need help with the SEO because I don't know anything about how to do that for a new website. God damn. Getting the smears in at the final buzzer. Why Mamdani frightens Jews like me. Changing the URL. Zoran Mamdani, Israel, Palestine, Jew. Sick. Cuomo is going to win them all after this one. What is this? I mean, we're going to talk about fucking
De Blasio, you know.
What the fuck? He's doing AI ads? Oh God, he is so fucked. He is so fucked. Oh, Jesus Christ, he's doing AI slop. Ay, ay, ay. What a fucking shit show this has been. They're just so desperate that they're hitting every fucking racist line that they can. Anyway, let's finish this Trump thing and then I'll get to Zoran.
Of our country. And you wouldn't think it's complicated, but you would have thought somebody would have done this a long time ago, sitting in this beautiful seat behind what's called the Resolute desk. You know that, right? This is a very famous. This is even more famous than any of your desks. But your desks are very good.
Follow up on her question to you, because the New York Times is reporting that your legal team is seeking $230 million from your own Justice Department now in response to the investigations into you. Is that something you want your legal team to do?
I don't know what the numbers are. I don't even talk to them about it. All I know is that they would owe me a lot of money, but I'm not looking for money. I'd give it to charity or something. I would give it to charity, any money. But look, what they did, they rigged the election. And as you know, we had, in one case, 60 Minutes had to pay us a lot of money. George Slobodanopoulos had to pay us a lot of money, and they already paid. You know, they paid me a lot of money because what they did was wrong. And, you know, when somebody does what's wrong. Now, with the country, it's interesting because I'm the one that makes the decision, right? And, you know, that decision would have to go across my desk. And it's awfully strange to make a decision where I'm paying myself. In other words, did you ever have one of those cases where you have to decide how much you're paying yourself in damages? But I was damaged very greatly, and any money that I would get, I would give to charity.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah, please, go ahead.
Is the Democrat Party now more Zoran Mamdani's party than it is even Leader Schumer's or Leader
Probably
Jeffries?
is, yeah. Look, it's, I mean, maybe he'll run for president in 4 years. You have a communist president, though. I don't see it happening, you know. I've always said you will never see, and I always talk about socialism, and you will never see a socialist so-and-so. And I was right. I say it in speeches. We will not have socialism in our country. And I was right. Communism, yes, but socialism. In other words, they skipped socialism and they went down to communism.
I really think it's quite remarkable how much people flex their idiocy in this country. Like, especially as it pertains to talking about like socialism and communism and stuff. Like, it is pretty crazy that like most people have no issue just straight up being wrong about this stuff. Like, no one just knows what these words mean or imply. And the average American is also just as stupid. And they just go, yeah, I guess that makes sense to me. I don't fucking know anything like that. They're skipping over the socialism to bring about communism. They've moved beyond. It's just, okay. I've met multiple libs that call Trump a commie. I know. We gotta do away with that. We got to do away with the negativity associated with socialism and communism. Slowly but surely, hopefully. Except our establishment libs are not going to.
No, he's a communist, and he's going to be maybe the mayor of New York. I don't know, maybe, you know, polls are wrong, but these polls seem to be pretty consistent. But he would be, I would say he would be the leader of the party. It's not Schumer. Schumer's shot. He's shot. This poor guy, I feel sorry for him. I've known him for a long time, but I think he's mentally gone. He's been beat up by young lunatics, and I think Chuck Schumer he's gonzo. I really do. I think he's probably not going to run. It shows that he's losing in every poll. Now, this is hard. You know, he wants to meet with me. It's sort of hard to meet with a guy after I make a statement like that, but I'm just giving the facts. I think Chuck is probably finished. I know some people, Democrats, that would be good. Some good politicians and some, you know, reasonable people. But I understand that they would not have a chance of, you know, getting even the concept of holding the torch. They're not going to get it. But they have some people that I really believe they're low IQ people. They're stupid people, and they seem to be leading the party. So we'll see what happens. Look, the Republicans are strong. We have great leadership. We're very strong in every way.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely.
And we're going to keep it that way. But we are really a strong party. You know, our party's grown magnificently. We've gotten away. Look at all the union votes I got. Nobody thought that was ever possible. Look at the election where I won popular. I won everything. I won all 7 swing states. If you win 3 or 4 swing states, you're doing great. I won all 7 by a lot. And I think the best thing when you look at districts, 2,700 versus 525. That's big. That's why the map shows all red. So we won in a tremendous landslide, and that's because people like our policy. I guess they like me, but they like my policies. Strong borders, good education, low taxes. You know, in the great big beautiful bill, we got the biggest tax cut in history. Not only no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime, we got the biggest tax cut in the history of our country in the bill that we just approved. And I think people see that and they like it, and that's why we're doing well, but they are not. They do not have leadership. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you,
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, press.
Thank you, guys.